Hello and welcome. Campbell here from Autodidactic with Lorenzo again. And today I'm going to talk about done with dumb. How you doing, Lorenzo?
I'm good. All of us have had our experiences in life with idiots, fools, and a-holes of one kind or another. If you look in the mirror, and I've looked in the mirror, you'll see, another version of those, depending on who and how you've been in different parts of your life. And I think we can all agree that the world would be better, and we would be better, and our life would be better if we had, at the very least, if you couldn't get rid of all of those things completely, at least in some ways, have less to do with them and less to do with the outcomes and effects of idiocy, foolishness, and basically, not being so kind, as we could say, would be the definition of an a-hole.
Nice. Yes, done with dumb. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the old thing, right? Like the inside world versus the outside world. What are we going to let influence us more? And of course, there's a bit of dumb in the outside world, especially at the moment. There's people going crazy and telling us what we should do and how we should live and all this kind of stuff. But the interesting thing is when you look at these people who give all the advice, they seem to have the most chaos in their life, don't they?
Yes. And insidious anti-Mason, this is exactly what I've been saying. Don't forget, the way I see it as well, mostly, is to be done with your own dumb, right? To be done with your own fool, the inner fool, if you like, to be done with your own asshole. We all have to deal with an asshole every single day, our own, one way or the other, or else, if you're lucky, you get to deal with it in the mornings, let's say, and at other times during the day. And if you're not, well, you have those challenges. And, one of the definitions, I think, of dumb, it wasn't that, that one of the slangs is being like a few peas short of a pod or a few bananas short of a bunch or some tools are missing from the shed. I remember some of those when I was growing up. And I would say if you look at it intelligently, it simply means, you don't have all the information about anything that you're choosing. And so figuring out how you need to fill yourself up, let's say, on all the facts, all the practical facts. And if you act without them, then in some ways you're being less than intelligent, let's say.
Mm. Yes, and hello to everyone in chat. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to Chris and Hippie and moderators for today. I appreciate you all. And yeah, I mean, the other thing that dumb is, like the traditional meaning of dumb is you can't speak. So
Mm.
maybe, we can also tie in not speaking our truth into this, right? Like again, taking all of our influence from the outside world and repeating it because I mean, this is a big thing at the moment is everyone's a repeater. Have you noticed this? A piece of information goes out and people just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And there's none of the, contemplation, right? Like getting information, thinking it over, contemplating it, and then re-speaking it with your perspective. People just seem to repeat. And of course, if we're repeating, what the dumb idiots, fools, and assholes are saying, then we kind of become one, don't we? So it's really got a lot to do with, putting our perspective on what's actually going on and the information we're getting. Like, what do we think about it? Because it doesn't really matter that much what other people think about it. It's good for conversation, but it's also really none of our business, right? That's their life. We need to come up with our own conclusions to all these things, to all the questions of life, and and more importantly, what we're actually going to do, what action we're going to take.
Yeah, and for Veen, who asked if it's okay for her young Brian to watch, I would say yes. It's even essential maybe for younger men and or women or boys and or girls to watch and to see. We'll try not to swear too much, but I'm sure they've heard worse in the schoolyard or wherever else than we might say. But yeah, Campbell is very correct, I think, in that there's just way too much. Like something will come out on the mainstream news, and then suddenly you see 1,000 videos with the same stuff. So pretty dumb actually to be working for the side you don't wish to support. If you become a mouthpiece for them, they're not even giving you a salary for crying out loud. You're just like repeating and showing and saying and describing it. Even if you fight the other side, so to speak, you're kind of still showing their side by exposing it. So you're literally giving them free publicity, and they're using YouTube as a boob in a way to have you express what they want you to share, whether it's true or not, and get it out into the ether, the consciousness, the brains of people. And I would say, being an endless repeater, I mean, isn't that what we were taught in school? Not to learn, but to repeat after me, and then you got like, I could do that. I got great grades by repeating after them, but did I learn anything? No, I learned how to be a repeater. And then to figure out I really hated school.
Yes, me too. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and this is the thing about social media is a lot of people think that YouTube and other social media is not the media, right? It's not the mainstream because it's not on the TV. But like you said, the truth is most of it is. It's just people repeating what's been in the mainstream news. And of course, where attention goes, energy flows. So we're just empowering all these things. So, like, I think perspective is a big, we need people's perspective because you don't make people think or ponder it or ask themselves any questions if you're just repeating the narrative. And it's crazy. Like, I'm, staying with my parents at the moment who are news watchers. But, like, I went out, it was my dad's birthday a few weeks ago, and the whole table of people, and that's all they do. They just sit around and repeat what was on the news to each other. It's crazy. It's insane. So, that's clearly just going to make us go around in circles. Like, we can't go forward if all we're doing is repeating other people's ideas and, sort of talking about them, blah, 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 blah. And this is happening everywhere. I mean, obviously, the aliens are invading, didn't you know, Lorenzo? That they're coming
I
from
did.
America. They're everywhere. So, just that has made, like, it's just everywhere, but it's all the same kind of stuff coming out. There's not many different points of views of what that could be. And this is the thing with all stories. So, I think what it comes down to, if we want to create something different, we've got to have a different thought. And that different thought will lead to different action, which will lead to a different outcome, right? But
Yes.
we've been so programmed into, like you said, it starts at school. Repeat back to the teacher what I just said, or go stand in the corner and be the stupid kid, right? Um, so we've really got to start, deciding what we want and calling all this stuff out too, if it's silly and it's crappy and all this. But basically, we need to, I guess, not be dumb, right? Find our voice and start speaking with it.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a call out to ourselves. Campbell and I have launched our locals, Autodidactic Alliance. You can send your email to the link below to A Weber, and we're ready to go. We're just gonna fine tune it a bit over the next couple of days, and we'll probably launch it for real on Saturday or Friday or by the end of this week. Anyways, it seems for sure through to the new year, and we're going to have an intelligent space for increasing our own personal power, our own personal resources, our own personal awareness, through an authentic efforts of making sure that we're growing, we're learning. Autodidactic. That's why Campbell started that, to teach yourself how to be a better person. And when you understand that you have to teach yourself more than you know, by definition, you realize you're not there yet. I mean, I think that's the trick with most people, is it's very easy to point fingers and say, this is dumb, this is retarded, he's an asshole, she's a whatever, etc., etc. But that's only going to get you so far. In fact, that could get you nowhere. You can sit on the couch, have your Doritos, eat a box of Krispy Kreme donuts, point at the world, and all you're going to do is get fatter, stupid, and older by the next day. On the other hand, if you decide, well, how have I fallen for the dumb trap? How have I fallen through my own asshole? How have I become stupid? And I'm pointing at myself with all of these, so nobody out there, even if everyone chooses 5 ways that happened to them, and I bet you everyone has like 5,000 ways it's happened to them. So I'm being very kind here. You will get the opportunity by realizing you need to do something. By realizing, as Campbell said a million times, that you need to change something for something to change, and usually that changes yourself, and that can bring about an exchange of ideas. And this is why we're doing our Autodidactic Alliance, is we want to have people that really want to get together, bring some ideas out, are ready to make an effort for themselves without just blaming, and allow them to see, as Sterling said, how am I poisoning myself? That's a good way to put it. I mean, people smoke or drink or eat McDonald's their whole life and go, I have no idea why I got cancer. I don't know what's going on. And I bet you, if you were honest, you could sit back and you can look and you could see whether it was stress or disease or poor choices or unhappiness or sadness or depression, all of those things that obviously make you sick or less than energetic. And, even I think through an understanding of how you've been dumb, stupid, and an idiot, you can heal yourself of just about any ailment that may be ailing you at the moment.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, most of the world has they've become commenters on the story that's given to us, rather than, being out there and questioning and putting their own ideas and creating a different story, right? Which is the only way to create a different outcome. People are just commenting, oh my gosh, have you seen this? And that's sort of where we
Yeah.
are. Like, there's so much information and minutia out there that before you get time to think about something, there's another story. Oh my God, now they're doing this. Now, there's going to be another lockdown. Oh my God, it's the alien invasion. Oh my God, Trump, and oh my God, blah blah blah. But nothing. Like, what does this ever change? Like this, it's been like this since I can remember. Right? They're always putting out stories. Most of them are fear based. Most of them are telling you that you can't do anything and you're just a silly little human and just sit back and take what's given to you. And so I think this is the biggest thing: is we need to just stop being dumb and speaking up, right? Because like this, a couple of years ago, everyone's like, the fake news, the fake news, the fake news, it's fake. Yeah, well, great. Well, stop listening to it and stop repeating
Yeah.
it, because we all went through this thing. But people still are like, oh, but did you hear this? Did you hear this? But guys, it's all fake. Like unless we can prove something
Yeah.
or we've experienced it, how real is it? Like it's just not. It's just a story.
I mean, the older generations don't want to understand. I mean, I see some, comments in there. What's happening with Mr. Diddy? It's got worse over the last 20 years. No, and no, no. In my opinion, it's all the same. It's been the same since I've been four. It's been stupid. Nobody's wanted to listen, including us. There's been, all kinds of weird stuff going on TV from this whole life back from what is Fatty Arbuckle, who supposedly did some bad stuff to little kids and got thrown out in the 20s. So all of these so-called movie stars, very much since the beginning, literally for the last 100 years, have
Yeah.
been doing bad things to bad people for bad reasons, and somehow people are watching it and they want to know what's going on. But that's just more of the same BS of missing their own life. I mean, I've been
Mm.
studying even words. I mean, this is something people I think really need to get a good grip on, or I did. Changing things from one language to another. Like, I tried to, translate things from Japanese to English, and things get lost in this generation, or 20 years ago, even English words have changed in their definitions. So how can anybody looking at these old books, whether it's a Bible or whatever, that are thousands of years old and written in long dead languages, you know and then change from one language to another language to another language to another, and they even tell you this word means six things, so they have to choose one of the things. Like if you look at kanji, which is a pictogram, which is the same as a Chinese, they go, well, this could mean this, or this, and depending on the tone, could mean this, that, or that. So literally, I mean, if you look at things practically, you have 20 different definitions of a word. What is it? The Eskimos have 20 different words for snow, even, they say, or something like that, whereas English people have one, or
Mm.
ice or something. That's simply because they live in different sort of nuances. And if you're not in their culture and they make a reference and you don't understand it, I mean, the opportunity for misunderstanding everything, even talking today, is huge, let alone people pushing from something that somebody maybe said thousands of years ago, and so they have to follow it, and everyone's got to listen to it, is the real definition of being retarded, and that you're closing in the potential for things being a little different. Let's say by retarded, I mean slowing down, pulling
Slowing down.
back,
Yeah.
not to retard something is to slow it down.
Yeah.
Is to be slower. That used to be they used to call them slow people. And so if you're doing that, you're really missing the opportunity for having a new sort of potential definition for anything you're doing, and that's stupid, in my opinion.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I've obviously done a lot of history stuff, and we look back at all this stuff, and we can see it's all been altered. Whether on purpose or not. Like you said, with translations, like from Latin to Greek to Italian to English. I mean, so much, we've even literally got a saying called lost in translation, right?
Mm.
But people still get hooked into these narratives and think, well, it's in a book, it must be true. Well, maybe because it's in a book, that means it's not true, right? Like, because that's something that they want out there and repeated. So, I mean, I guess the question is, what's more important about creating the future we want? Is it gathering information, or is it imagining? Because I would
Mm.
say that it's imagining, right? Like, that's where the power lies, is in the creative mind. That's how we create our reality. So what we're doing, if we're just reading books of someone else, which is just someone else's opinion based on someone else's opinion, then that becomes what we create. And of course, this is how they create the collective reality, right? They keep putting out stories on the news and put out things in books and teach us things in school. And then we all get this same idea, believe it, create it in our mind. And ends up being the world we live in, which is basically one
I
where
mean,
we're not actually calling the shots most of the time, right? It's someone else making the rules. So, this is the thing. Like, what are we basing all of our, wisdom on? Is it someone else's opinion that is probably someone who wants to help control us, or are we going to, step out and go, well, hang on, I can create something different here. I can imagine something different here, and then believe that that's what we're doing. Like, believe that
yeah,
going,
then
if
do
we
it.
imagine something, then it's we're literally creating it, because that's what I believe. I believe that literally we almost are projecting from our third eye, say, could be a little projector, right? And as we walk forward in life, it's projecting everything that we interact with, at the world around us. So, would you rather imagine something better, or just keep reading the books and going, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this? Because that's clearly the program and the agenda.
I mean, His Highness, like important parts get left out of history. I would say a more important thing to look at is important parts get left out of our own history. You're sure. I mean, you can't guess what happened 200 years ago. You weren't there. I wasn't there. Nobody was there. Even if someone told you it happened, maybe, or maybe it's been changed. But more importantly is to see what you've left out of your own history, your own past, your own ways of doing things. I mean, something came, and it wasn't my idea. I read it somewhere. Like, imagine when you go to university, they charge you intuition, right? There's an intuition fee. But isn't that interesting? Your tuition fee, your intuition. You literally have to give up your intuition or your tuition to learn from them, and they tell you how reality is. Instead of you growing your own guts, your own feeling, your own imagination, as Campbell said, your own way of seeing what's possible. I mean, even the word syntax is interesting. If you separate it, sin and tax, tax to toil, to be tortured, right? To sin is to do something bad. So yeah, so if you're getting like language syntax, we need new syntax. The language itself is a limiting factor on imagination. Everyone thinks you can describe everything and you can say everything in words, and of course you can't. Like, I mean, a billion poems have been written on love, a billion people have talked about it, and you still can't really imagine what it is for someone else or for yourself until you're sitting there, and then it's always changing anyways.
Mm, yeah. I totally agree. Syntax, that's a good one. And then we write in
Yeah,
cursive. Got the curse
yeah.
there. But I mean, this is the thing. We all have intuition, right? But then we go and we pay out tuition, I guess. Like, we pay something outside of us to teach us, when we
Mm,
clearly have an inner teacher that we should be listening to first. And of course,
exactly.
the whole education system and teaching, it's all someone wanting to teach you their point of view, isn't it? Like, they've always got an answer for a question, and they're like, yep, I'm right, believe me, here you go, rah, rah, rah. And what does that do? That just builds a world where you have all these groups of people that believe the same thing. And that's like stagnation, right? We're not creating anything new when we're all thinking the same thoughts. We need to be thinking individual thoughts, and then creating, opportunity, because, all there really is potential. But when we
Mm,
believe a narrative, then there's no potential. Or the only potential is to do what someone else wants us to do. So I think this is, a big one, is we've really got to, as Lorenzo would say, put our big boy pants on and start taking control of what we're thinking, because thoughts are everything, and clearly they are, because if they weren't, why is so much effort put into controlling our thoughts? Right? We've got news, we've got media, we've got music, we've got
Yeah.
movies, we've got school,
I mean,
we've got books, everything.
even YouTube is a big trick, right? YouTube, you're in a tube, you're flowing forward. Some ways, it's like it's amazing that they've tricked us quite literally into making the own content to contain each other, where you can have content for anything, anytime, all the time, everywhere. 1,000 people could like something, 500 people could like something. The powers that are, let's say, retarded or are trying to retard us don't even need to do anything anymore. We do it all ourselves. And if anybody shares anything they don't like, they just take it off or censor it. And you keep getting pushed in a certain direction. And it makes me wonder why there's so much work going on, why there's so much effort. I mean, someone says schools are okay. Sure, I mean, whatever. It's not even the schools that are okay or not okay. It's what you're being taught or not. It's the topic. If you're being taught how to learn, or you're being taught how to be strong, like, or you're being taught how to be wondrous or fantastic, or to use your imagination, or to grow, or to be healthy, why not? It's fantastic. Let someone who's been somewhere that you haven't gone give you some advice on how to be a better person, and allow that to inform you if you want to, right? But as soon as you're grading, and you're and you have to, and there's right and wrong, and all this other nonsense, right away, then there's a problem. I think, I had a philosophy teacher in university, the only one I liked, that said he had a problem with exams and tests in philosophy, because he said as soon as the students, when they need the most help before they have a test, is when the teachers don't give them any.
Mm.
Because, yeah. So, that really stuck with me. I go, it's an interesting way of seeing things, is that, somehow, because there's a grade coming and a mark coming, and you have to repeat back what's been repeated to you, you don't get the help you need, and there's reasons for it. The reasons are always unreasonable when it comes down to what they're trying to force you, or the direction they're pushing you towards. I think that's the important thing, is for people to look at where these ideas, where the news, even with the latest, drone one. Even the guy on the news said this hasn't happened, since the War of the World, something like this. That Orson Welles
A movie.
thingamabob, and
Yeah.
everyone knows,
Mm.
yeah, everyone knows that was bullshit, and everyone knows that was done to push people in a certain way, and they're even telling you they're doing it again. You know, they're trying to fuck you
Mm.
in the head. Pardon my language for little Brian listening over there. Sorry about that, Bean. But they're literally trying to screw with your potential, or screw with your perspective, and they're even telling you they're doing it just to show you how silly you're being if you listen, or stupid, or dumb.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there's this, thought that they have to tell us, right? And that may or may not be true. But I think if you look deep enough, they kind of always do, right? And whether that's because they want to, or just because they're arrogant, you know, they tell us this is all crap, and it's all been done before. It's cycles of stupidity, right?
Mm.
Like we had Orson Welles, what, in the 20s or 30s. Then we had the World War II and all the Foo Fighters, and the down, UFO at Area 51,
Yep.
and then that just kept building up and building up, and now we've got drones everywhere, and and they don't know what they are, but they know they're not hostile, don't you know? Like, I mean, come on, it's a crazy
Yeah.
story, and that's
Yeah.
all they do is they just keep repeating and rolling over the same stories, and one of the main reasons they do that is because it keeps working. Because the people down here of the realm, we keep in on mass, on majority, we keep buying the story and repeating it out, and then just recreating the same whatever, right, circumstances, the same things that we can interact with, and people wonder why things aren't changing. I just want things to change. Oh, well, there is that saying, right? For things to change, we need to change. It's us. We need to stop being, the idiots and the fools and all this kind of stuff, and stop and start pondering. I've said it a few times. People aren't taking any time to ponder anymore, to think.
Mm.
And that's obviously a lot of that is, this. We're in such a fast-paced world. Well, are we? I think if you focus on the billion amounts of information coming at us from media and other sources, then yeah, it seems fast because there's so much going on. But when you realize that's all bullshit, and you don't pay it that much attention, then you can pay yourself more attention. Then you can start wondering what you want. what you want to create, and you can start going in a different direction. And that ultimately, to me, is the way to freedom. You know, as long as we're repeating the story and we're talking about it, and, oh, did you hear this and did you hear that and blah blah blah. It's their story, guys, right? It's his story. It's not our story. So we need to get back to what's our story, and all our story is, what do we want to experience? How do we want to grow? What do we want in the future? And if we focus on that, then that's what we can create, rather than focusing on, you know, the script that they want to run.
I mean, Guacamole Kid, it's true. The opening out of our crater is located off the tip of South America. You know, I went down at one point to Uruguay, and I found out the same that you. There's an area right off there at the tip where all the rich people have their yachts, supposedly a certain time of year, and you're not allowed to go beyond a certain point. And it's probably what the Falklands War was about. You know, there's more land. I mean, even if you look at the definition of outer space, I was watching Realm of Realness. It's a good channel. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but he just did a video on what's going on. And outer space just means extra space, right? It just means,
Yeah.
it just means, so there, everything going to outer space is just going to this extra space. X marks the spot. Like, why did they turn Twitter to X and Xbox and X this and all this other BS? You know, that's just where your soul is, right? That's the middle of the toroid field. I might be getting a little off topic, but basically they tell you freedom is through you. Freedom is through your soul. There's extra space. There's more space. And I don't just mean outside space, which is interesting because not many of us are going to get in our yachts and go towards, South America and keep going and fight their 7,000 army guys that aren't letting you go there for whatever reason, which is obvious. But there's the reflection that you have more space on the inside. You have outer space you haven't explored. In other words, as Campbell said, maybe you have intuition, imagination, inner resources, other stuff that you haven't looked at. I know I have. Every day something new about myself is dawning on me, is coming to me. And I'm going, but, and here's the kicker, whenever something new hits me, I remember I already had this intuition or this feeling when I was a little boy, when I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that you give up when you become an adult because you give away your intuition for your tuition. You change it and then you forget about it, right? But all of us were little people, little boys or little girls. And at those points, you probably had some sort of intuition and imagination that you gave away, or you were encouraged to give away, inculcated to give away, punished to give away. But if you go claim that again, meaning what Campbell said, you don't really need anything on the outside to grow into the wonderful people you want to be, but you do need to reclaim your own power. Stop being an idiot, stop being a fool, stop smelling your own asshole, and go the other way from what you've given up, from how you've retarded yourself, how from you've decided to live between your cheeks instead of growing beyond your cheeks. And what I am basically saying, and the beauty of it is, we're all fantastic, we're all wonderful, and we can all grow up. But it's not going to happen, from a fat ass on the couch. You really got to get up and do something about it.
Yeah. And I mean, the shape of the realm is an interesting one because it's kind of what they've done to us, right? I mean, I think all life is really just an externalization of what's going on in our minds, but they've literally, trapped it into a ball, right? With nowhere to go. And the only place to go is infinite space, right? And infinite space is infinite nothingness. But because, there's infinite planets out there, it's also infinite potential. So they do this mind fracturing thing. Everything that you ever want is out there, but there's nothing out there, right? It's this crazy, like, exactly. What? Your brain doesn't work it out. But is there extra? I mean, I believe there is, but then we have the question: is it there, or are we creating it? Like, are we literally creating out of land since this concept's come in? And if so, then what are we thinking about it? It's a good thing to think about. Like, if we think, oh my God, that the baddies are out there, the rulers are out there, oh my God, that's these bad, the greys or whatever. That's probably what we'll create and what we'll interact with, right? But if we see freedom out there and whatever, right, information, amazing new civilizations, and that's probably what we'll interact with. So it's very interesting. But yeah, extra territory, extraterrestrial, alien, just someone who's not from here. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, it's a little bit off topic, but this is literally how they've trapped our mind. Is they've said, no, you live on a ball, right? So there's nowhere to go, right? There's no gates to other lands. There's no other people, and if we have a chance of meeting them, well, it's just by random, right? Like these beings will come across 300 million light years and land on Earth, and then they'll just talk to the government anyway, and we won't get much of a say in it. So,
Yeah.
so is this what's happening with our minds? Are we doing that with our minds, like literally cutting ourselves off from potential based on other people's information, and then giving it up and going, oh well, I can't do anything anyway, so the government are going to do whatever they want to do, because that's what they want us to think, but that's not the truth. The truth is we have the power, and we've been saying this forever, right? We have the power, we have the power, and we do because there's more of us. But unless we use that, what's the point? We don't have any power unless we use it.
And even, right? I mean, that's a good exploration in and of itself. Is it the power of money, which can buy you some things? Is it the power of choice, which you can pick up? Is it the power of being different, which you can do? Is it the power you had when you were little? That's what I'm finding. It's the power of my imagination, the power of my energy. Literally, I think we give up our energy as we get older. You get tired from work, taxed, literally toiled too much. You get tired from bad food. You get tired from bad emotions. You get tired from bad relationships. You get tired from drinking too much. All these things, which literally you get tired from too much wheat or too much sugar or all the things they tell you is healthy. Too much soya in your food that's not good for men. I've heard for various reasons. It literally tires your energy. And if you're tired, what can you do when you're tired? I mean, Campbell and I have both canceled on each other before over the years because I'm too tired to do this today, right? Or I didn't get a good sleep, or I was too exhausted, or I'm too sick. And it basically means you don't have enough energy to do something, to create something, to be new, to decide. We all know, when we've had a good night's sleep, when we've had a good meal, when we've had laughing times, other ideas come and grow and show us different ways to be. And so, literally, what it comes down to is treat yourself right, be healthy, not because it's moral or not because it's the right thing to do, but because practically it gives you, yes, God Gewalt Dutch equals creator machine head. Great channel, God Gewalt Dutch. I think
Mm,
it's God it's spelled, but either way, I highly recommend it. He's on Rumble. He's obviously been thrown off YouTube. He was too intelligent. And you look at all 50 odd videos he has, and they just blow your mind, just showing you. And he's the bigger Earth. He's not of a flat Earth. He says we're on a huge Earth and we're living in different craters. Look up at the moon. It's
mm,
pretty interesting. But the bottom line really is everything's bigger than we know or that they tell us. And that gives you the opportunity to realize you haven't figured out everything at all, right? You haven't figured out anything. Even if you're 155, you figured out, poop squeak of nothing. And it gives you the opportunity, to get on a different track, let's say, to untie yourself from being in a track. That's a whole other word to explain as well, to be stuck on a track and to move yourself towards a better place.
mm. Yeah. I'm just having a look here. There's lots of opinions coming up on the shape of the world
Mm.
and what it is where we're living. And at the
Doesn't
moment,
really
there's
matter.
actually, I was going to say, yeah, there's people down in Antarctica doing the final. It's called, well, the person who's sort of organised it has called it the final experiment. If we can observe this one thing, then that means everything else that we've observed just disappears and doesn't have a meaning. It's just my point of view. Look, it's not going to prove anything, and it's definitely not final. It's just people
No.
arguing again. And I mean, sure, a couple of them got a free trip to Antarctica, pretty cool. But in the end, what's it going to prove? Nothing. It's just going to basically create a lot more videos on YouTube with people arguing against each other. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. And this is, really the base of all arguments, right? And of all, contention between, viewpoints is people want to be right. They want to be right. They want their viewpoint, which most of the time isn't even their viewpoint. They've taken it from someone else, but they want it to be proven right because they think that'll make them better somehow, or that people will suddenly look at them as intelligent. Oh, it doesn't happen, guys. They don't. Most people don't care. They really don't. They're like, oh, this guy's, yeah, okay, it's interesting, all this. But the thing is, arguing just distracts you. like I
Yeah.
said, there's been people arguing for this since 2015. Now we're at the final experiment, and again, it's going to prove nothing. But what has actually, what have we got out of this? Have we gotten more freedom? Have we got better, world to live in? Have we become more abundant? Have we become freer?
No,
No,
no, it's all the
just
same.
more minutia in the head to argue about. So it could be a ball, it could be flat, it could be a crater, it could be the moon
Maybe
map.
it's none
We've
of
got,
those.
or maybe it's none of those. Maybe it's something that
Maybe it's all
it's just a
energy.
simulation. Yeah,
Did anyone
exactly.
think it's all energy? Like Officer Donut, there's got to be some way out of here. There is. We're all sitting on the way out of here ourselves, right? That's why they
And
spend so much energy, vaccine, all this stuff since you're born to really encourage you to give it up. It's not taken away. I want to be very clear on that with everybody who says, that's taken away from it. It's not. We give it away. Even if you're one, even if you can't help but give it away because you're 2 or 3 and your parents threaten to take away your allowance or your donuts or whatever. Be a good girl, Tommy, and I'll give you a new dress. Oh, sorry. Or is it Janie now? It doesn't
big
really
boy
matter, right?
Tommy, jeez, mate, you bring the rainbow
I
in.
wouldn't know. It's Tommy with an I today, right? Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, but what I'm saying is basically I'm making fun of myself in that we give it away, even if we're tricked because we're little. And yes, you could be coerced. It's easy to trick a kid. It's easy to take advantage of their innocence, and that challenge lays with the person that did it at the time, not you. And you can reclaim that because at this point, any of us, while we're still breathing, have the opportunity, in my opinion, to reclaim Tommy's new dress. Yes, Alver. People have an opportunity to reclaim anything they've given up because it's reclaiming, meaning it's yours. You gave it away, so you can take it back. And that's the big thing I think that people can take away from this conversation, if nothing else. And that's why Campbell and I've started autodidactic, self-reliance, if you let them put it together, self-teaching, autodidactic lines. Teach yourself to bring it back, and then you can be, free as a bird, as it says over there, flee as a bird.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting, this whole notion that I've seen sort of gaining momentum over the last few years of this. How do we get out of the simulation? How do we escape the matrix? Well, I mean, it just sort of shows you what a good job they've done. They've actually got people wanting
Yeah,
to get out of the experience of life. I mean, you look around at the amazing world we've got and all the amazing people and all the things that we can do, and they've got people going, no, it's a prison planet. We're in hell. We need to escape this matrix. We're being held prisoners. I mean, no, people are being held prisoners, sure, but it's to their own mind, to their own thoughts. It's not to anything outside of them. They've created the jail around themselves, and it just really shows you how far they've got to literally have people discussing how do we get rid of this experience? How do we end it now? I don't like it. It sucks. They've got the power. They treat me like a slave. But every time that you're externalizing this they, them, blah, blah, stuff outside of us, you're giving away your power. And the truth is, if we all decided, look, we're in heaven, everything's amazing, everything's abundant. If we could get most people to believe that, that's what it would be. But the better news is, if we believe in ourselves, we can create that pretty quickly, a completely different life that has got nothing to do with being ruled or being taxed or, oh my God, the corporations and look what they're doing
none of it.
here. And look, we've always got a choice. And sure, they might make things harder in the physical consumer world, but you still got a choice. You don't have to join it. You don't have to be one of the minions. So, this is really, I think, one of the big things that is going to help us all move forward is to start thinking for ourselves again, start imagining for ourselves again,
Yeah.
start realizing when we're saying things, is this actually my thought, or am I just repeating something that they want repeated? Because then, of
Um,
course, we are helping to let other people enslave themselves. Enslavement is from the inside out, just like life is from the inside out, right? It's all the same thing. It's the
100%.
toroid. Mm.
I mean, so Rune Dart, if you want to get the Godgevelt guy on Rumble, I forget how to pronounce it. I think it's I forget. It's a French sort of name. send me an email, fullforpower@gmail.com. Anybody who has any questions, doesn't get answered, wants a link towards anything Campbell and I are doing, wants to join our course. By the way, we're offering 2 for 1 for our 9 hidden secrets between now and Christmas. You join, we'll give it to a friend for free, and we'll be able to help you out. So fullforpower@gmail.com. If you don't get any questions answered, send me an email. I'll do my best to get back to you. And God, that's something or other. And I'll give you the link, or I'll
Yeah,
show you as best I can what we talked about. Maybe
I
Tom can
think
put it
that's
in the
how you
chat if
spell
he
it.
wants to.
Yeah, I just put
Yeah,
it in.
yeah.
I'm pretty
So
sure it's the right spelling.
yeah,
God's for math,
there's I
something
think
like
that is
that.
how you
From
spell it. There's a guy, Realm of Realness. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers. Also on YouTube, talks about similar stuff, and it's really interesting. And mostly, it's interesting because it just makes you think outside of your box, outside of your imagination. And somebody
mm,
said, babies can't give away anything. I mean, what's the point in arguing that you're a slave? Like, I mean, I don't even understand that. Like, I'm not a baby, so I don't know. But of course, if you feel, even if you have to guess that you give it away, you can take it back, whatever it is. Like, why argue? I don't understand why people argue for their limitations. I really don't get that
mm,
at all. It's like, what's the point of arguing for your limitations? And I think the point is this, or Campbell even said why people blame it, so they can be lazy. Because if you're right, you don't have to do anything. Right? If you're a
yeah,
victim, you don't have to do anything. You can sit down, have a beer, go grab your McDonald's, triple Big Mac with triple cheese and bacon, and keep blaming the world, and you don't got to do nothing. You go, well, it's not my fault. I didn't
yeah,
do it. What can I do? I hope Trump's going to come and save me. If not Trump, I hope the Savior's going to come and save me. And if not the Savior, I hope my husband's going to come and save me, or my girlfriend. Boy, the next relationship's going to save me. Basically, you've got
yeah.
as much chance as that as someone to come and wipe your bum for you tomorrow morning. Probably, unless
Mm,
you pay someone lots of money, you're going to have to do it yourself.
yeah, it's a great plan. The problem is, what if they don't show up? Right? You'll
Yeah.
be on your deathbed going, oh, no, someone's coming to save me now. I mean, the reason that they're not is because we're already here, guys. We're here to save ourselves, right?
Mm,
And this is the thing. And this is, the thing about thinking is we can't make a decision unless we have at least 3 points of views, minimum
yeah.
three, because
Minimum.
clearly one point of view, you're just being told something. That's school. 2 points of
Mm,
view, that's the government, right? Two sides, but really the same result. You need minimum three points of views before you can even start to make a decision and think for yourself. And so the shape of the realm's a good analogy, right? Is okay. Is it a ball? Is it a crater? Is it outer lands? Is it the moon map? Then at least we've got different points of view that we can look at from, and that takes us out of this place of I'm right, right. It's definitely a ball because NASA told me, and that's why people get so crazy on especially this topic is that they've only got one point of view, right? And
yeah.
even the flat earthers that they've got 2 points of view, but like I said, 2 points of view, that's just controlled opposition. You're still being told something, so you're not, and you can see how people get so upset when talking about the shape of the realm and that's because they're invested in only one point of view. It's just like what happened in the elections in America, and all the people with funny colored hair were going crazy, like literally losing their mind, for the whole world to see on social media. It's because they've only had one point of view given to them and through school, and then they get put in an echo chamber of social media where everything that they believe keeps getting fed to them, and they get all hyped up. Yes, everyone believes like me, but with one point of view, you're an idiot. You can't, you
Yeah.
can't.
Literally.
We've seen these people try and put, they get asked one question and they're like, oh, I can't answer. I don't want to talk anymore. You must be a racist. Like, but so this is the thing. Like the way, to free the mind is to get as many points of view as you can and start thinking about these topics. Where do I stand? It doesn't matter where anyone else stands. What if everyone else is wrong? What if everyone's wrong? Then where do you go, right? You've got to go to your own thoughts. Because if everyone's wrong and it's all a lie, well, following anyone else's opinion, and that's all it is, just an opinion, is going to lead you down the wrong road. So I think that, the most important thing we need to do to stop being dumb idiots and fools is to actually think for ourselves. I mean actually ponder things and have different point and be able to
Yeah.
accept different points. Most people can't even accept a different point of view. They'll lose their shit because they've been so programmed into one point of view and I'm right. And everywhere I look, oh, it looks like the whole world agrees with me, so I must be right. Look how good I am. Now I'm going to sit back on the couch and watch people play football and yell at them when they don't play properly.
Uh,
It's
I mean,
crazy,
why not
right?
just say maybe? Maybe what if someone says something you totally don't agree with? Or you totally why don't you go maybe? Instead
Yeah.
of no, it can't be true. Like when you start like going, huh? Like why doesn't someone like if you say let's say Trump is good or Trump, whatever, politicians are all assholes in my opinion. But if someone says something you don't agree with, why don't you ask them questions? Like, why do
Mm.
you think that? Not I'm going to tell you why you're wrong or I'm going to tell you why you're right, which is retarded. Then you literally retard the information. Basically you're being an idiot or a fool or an asshole. It's like going, well, how do you believe that? Why is that happening to you? Where did you get that information from? If you have a discussion, if you want to, if you feel like it, or you can walk out of the room, that's fine too, if that's what you really want to do. But the bottom line there is you open up your perspective to new ideas, as Campbell says, to a third point, a fourth point, maybe a 77th point. It doesn't really matter. I don't agree with most of what anyone says, but I've stopped arguing with it all. And then I have less stress. My energy is much better. People will usually eventually come to their own conclusions about everything in life. So why not just be more, I don't want to say friendly, but why not? Why not be of assistance instead of adversarial? Why not
You know what's
cooperate instead of,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
okay to be friendly, Lorenzo. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, be friendly. I don't mean by it's true. There's lots of funny ways to look at things, but I mean, if you don't bring stress to a situation, there's less stress in the situation, right? If you don't bring attention to a situation, if you bring love to, like, how many
Yeah.
people, like Campbell said, they want more love, they want more abundance, they want more. Well, you got to give it if you want to get it, right? You want more love, give more love. You want more freedom,
Mm.
give someone freedom. You want more abundance, give that abundance. If you don't have it, you can't give it. It's the old thing. Don't have $5. You can't give someone $5. So you got to get it for yourself before you can share it with someone, whatever it is you're looking for.
Mm. Totally. I mean, I see everything as interesting. That's just interesting.
Mm,
It's not right or wrong. As soon as we judge something as right or wrong, then what we do is we block ourselves from any other information on that topic because we're right
mm,
or it's wrong, right? So once you hit that point, like you're stuck, you're in a paradigm, you're in someone else's thought process. But if it's just interesting, then it's just interesting, right? You can get more points of view, you can keep honing your viewpoint on it. And this is the thing, things don't actually have to be right or wrong. We don't have to judge them as good or bad or anything like that. They can literally be, oh, that's interesting, but I don't have enough info at the moment to make a decision that I'm happy with, so it's just interesting. Who cares, right? And if everything's just interesting, then who have you got to argue with, right? Who's wrong? Who's right? If everything's just interesting, then literally, like, who do we argue with? No one, because there's nothing to argue about. Because it becomes a conversation about, oh, okay, let's all put in our viewpoint and let's see, let's expand this idea and we can all learn from it. Much different place than I'm right, you're wrong. Shut up and listen to me. Oh my God, you suck. I'm leaving. I'm blocking you. That's the circle. That's just going round and round in circles. So everything, just find it interesting, guys. Just interesting. That's it.
and as I said, it is all context. Someone said it is all perspective. You change your perspective from one spot to another. Even you go sit in a different part of the room, you'll probably see something you've missed your whole life. So that should tell you, even in your life, from something so small as looking out a different window or hearing a new sound. You can't really tell anybody what's going. Like Campbell and I have done literally hundreds of videos together. We still have different definitions on some words. That's great. That's okay. And we've talked and shared and grown and communicated more than the average, let's say, two people who are exploring different ways to be alive, simply because that's our desire, that's our predilection, if you like, is to look at the world and see what new things we can find. Be like water, someone said. I mean, I heard an interesting thing maybe people want to ponder, is that light is just fast moving water. Wasn't that interesting that you have, ice and vapor and liquid, And maybe fast moving water like lasers is just simply water moving very quick. And then we're 80% water or 92% water. So imagine whether your life is frozen, whether your life is vapor, whether your life is liquid, which is a little more flexible, or whether you can turn yourself into light. Wouldn't that be an interesting perspective to flow along with instead of, oh my goodness, Trump's going to take away my right to, wear purple shoes and I'm leaving the country.
Mm. Yeah. But Trump's also the savior, man. Come on. This is the thing. If people will argue both sides of that and spend all this time, and at the end of it, achieve nothing, because you can't prove like, oh, we can go, is that's interesting. Let's see what happens. Officer Donut says, what about deep state targeted harassment? Well, if that's what you want to focus on,
Nice.
you're allowed to create that. It's a free world. I would say probably don't focus on that. I wouldn't want to create that myself. But this is the thing, like all these things are perceived. And of course, people say, oh, but what about the wars? And what about the people here? And what about the children? And look, unless you're there and that's your experience, it's none of your business. It's got nothing to do with you.
Really?
That's,
Nothing.
and apart from the fact that we can't prove that anything else is that any of this is happening, what we can prove is the media keep lying, the government keep lying, they falsify everything, including images and video. We've seen this. We can prove that, but we can't prove the actual wars going on. But people will cling on to the war. But what about this? And it's got nothing to do with you, but people take it on like, there's so much bad in the world. I feel so bad for these people. My internal world is destroyed because of a story that's going on somewhere else that I can't even prove. I mean, guys, all that energy could be put into creating something you want. It's all just a show. It's the greatest show on earth, right? And it's just now it's on your TV instead of on a stage. That's it. Now it's on your computer as well and your phone and everywhere. So you can focus on that. Sure, you can focus on being a prisoner. You can focus on taxes, slavery. You can focus on whatever you want, and that's what you're going to create. So it's your choice. Your choice.
Yeah. Even focusing on ego or wanting to destroy ego before you leave, I would say it's better to integrate things. Accept who you are, accept your assholeness, accept how you've been wrong. I think people are like fighting, and that means you're trying to lose something, and then you lose just in the war and you lose your energy instead of, wow, when I was 14, I chose this. Wasn't that stupid? Now that I'm 44, I won't choose that. Isn't that smart? So you kind of integrate yourself, you integrate your experiences. Like, why are you here? Why did you have that experience when you were 12? Everything has a reason, in my opinion. All your experiences are you. You've called them to yourself for something or some things, and you've probably called them to yourself for the one reason, in my opinion, to understand yourself. Because the more you understand yourself in that perspective, the more you can change. The more you see how you've been stupid, the more you can stop being stupid. Right? The more you admit how you've been retarded, the faster you can become. The more you admit you've been an asshole, and I'll put my hand up first. I've been an asshole more times than I can count. And everyone who knows me in my life would probably agree to that. There's probably some people out there laughing right now. The more you can stop being an asshole. Like, oh, no, I've never been bad. I've never done horrible things to my kids or my siblings or my friends. And then, of course, it means you don't have to change because you're fantastic. Right? Instead of you going, oh, my goodness, I'm ashamed. Shame is a good one. Guilt is another one. Even a few regrets to go, oh, I regret when I did that when I was 12. But I won't do it now that I'm 42. Oh my goodness. I used to drink too much, and I'll put my hand up like that when I was 22. I'll never drink what is that, Golden Comfort again or Southern Comfort ever again in my life. I remember that.
Oh my God.
I remember that Mickey behind the car before I took a date when I was nervous and I was 21 or something or 20. But that was a horrible experience. Never touch that shit again. But that was crazy stuff. But I remember I bought it. I drank it. I was nervous for whatever reason. I did it. I made myself sick. And it's an experience to see that you make yourself sick for so many bad choices. But that can be how you make yourself better moving forward. Because if someone came up with a bottle of Southern Comfort right now, I go, no, thank you.
Yeah. And this is the thing. A lot of things are there to show us what we don't want. They're not there to say, oh, focus on this. It's bad, so focus on it. It's like, okay, I don't want that. I don't want someone controlling me. I don't want to, base my life on what someone in government does, and are they going to change the economy? Are they going to do this? And that's what I don't want. And that's, we can learn, what we don't want as much as we can learn what we do want. But the trick is, don't focus on what you don't want. Just go, I don't want that, and be done with it. Be done with it. We don't need to argue why it's bad. We don't need to tell our friends this is bad because this politician did this and this person did this, and if only they did this, then we'd be better off. Look, they're not going to do it. I think, just in our own lifetimes, the life that we've been, the time that we've spent here, if you believe that the government are there to do good things for you and they're going to change, you may want to start looking in different directions, is I guess what I'll say to that. But people keep doing it. As long as the outside world changes, my life will be better. What was his name? I've forgotten his name at the moment. But basically said, if it's the world's fault, then you have to go out and change however many people, right? 8 billion people. You have to go and change 8 billion people for the outside world to change. Or you can change one person, yourself, change your inner world. Which one can we actually do? Most people focus on trying to change the outside world. And they run around and point the finger at people and change. But based on all the information we've got, that doesn't work, and it's never happened. And the outside world and those who are controlling it and making the rules, whatever, they're not changing. Their agenda is not our agenda. And so, but the thing is, we're more powerful. We get to create different things. So all we need to do is change our focus, right? And take control back.
But it's amazing how everyone, like, the most comments I've seen is when I mention Southern Comfort. I've noticed suddenly there's 32 comments of people that have enjoyed it or tried it. But that's okay. It's a common ground in some ways. We've all done stupid things, is what I'm saying. We're all laughing about it now. I think if you look at anything in your life, like the Southern Comfort moment, if you like, how you've done and taken in too much of whatever, government, any idea, anything that makes you sick right now, you can laugh it off, but I admit to having done that, so I can laugh about it now. If I said it wasn't my fault, my friend gave me the Southern Comfort, it's his fault, I would never have learned what I needed to learn to grow up into my own energy, my own power. And I can guarantee from what I've seen from myself that as soon as you put all this together, as soon as you accept all your power, as soon as you accept your energy, more than you can imagine, even at the moment, even more than you can think about is possible, I would say. More things in heaven and earth than we can even guess. I know that's a quote from someone or other. Will give us an opportunity to grow beyond anything that's keeping us from our own happy destiny.
Yes. You're fucked because you're on an island at a penal colony.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't even know what that means. Is he?
I mean, it's probably a bot.
Is he Irish? What is that? Yeah, it's probably a bot.
I don't know. But I mean, like, this is kind of what we're talking about. Exactly what we're talking about. One, if you think any country and their politicians are different from each other and not all coming from the same place, you might want to get some more information on that topic. But two, if you want to believe that you live in a penal colony or that you're controlled, well, you are. So you might want to revisit that thought as well. Because I can tell you right now, no one controls me. No one tells me what to do. I'm not locked up. And I'm actually, well, so they say, I'm actually descended from convicts. But I mean, I've spent the last, 20 years basically finding out that all of these stories are based on nothing. Like, it's just a story. It's just a story. I can't prove that my ancestors were convicts and came over here and he got done for stealing 2 sheep and a goat and got shipped off here and all. There's this big story about it. Oh, it's very good. Dirty Dick the sheep stealer, they called him, because his name was Richard. It's very good, right? They got nicknames and everything. But it's just a story. I can't prove any of it. And I'm definitely not going to sit there and go, oh my God, now I'm the descendant of a prisoner and a convict, so I'm a prisoner too, and the politicians have got me where they want me. Who cares? No, they don't. So this is literally the point we're making. What you believe is what you conceive. You build your future through the thoughts that you think now. That's how it works. So if you want to be a prisoner, you can be a prisoner. If you want to be free, you can be free. Because I think we all know that there's people around and they get constantly harassed by the government. They're always got something else coming on, or another court battle, and the police this, and they're fined for that, and blah blah blah. And then we've got people who literally do not interact with the government ever. They know they exist, but they don't interact with them, so they have no effect on their life at all. Okay, these people are living in the same country. They're both humans. They're both on Earth. Completely different realities based on what they're thinking and where they're putting their attention. And that's it. That's it. Where are you putting your attention?
Yep. I mean, someone asked the Magic Man once what he would do if someone had a gun pointed at him and he was walking down the street. He goes, "I wouldn't be there." And that's his answer. As Campbell said, I wouldn't be there. So someone goes, "What if that is your situation?" But your reality is, I just wouldn't be there. And no one, people can argue with you if they like, but that kind of goes along the lines of what Campbell said, right? You're in a penal colony, the police are doing this, they're taking your money away, they're doing this, they're making you take the jab, whatever. Or you're not there. If you have to leave a job, if you have to leave a relationship, we all know they make the money. So people who talk about taking our taxes or finding another 200 billion for the wars and this, that, it's all bullshit. Because rich people don't care. The government prints it. They're printing it in a little warehouse, giving it away, and then they're just saying these things to piss you off. Oh, if only they give the money here instead of here, the world would be better. Sure, but that's not the point. If only they didn't give money to this war, but they give it to the starving children here, the world would be better. Maybe, but that's also not the point. I mean, you can't argue it's better to be happy than not happy, let's say, or it's better to have no wars and children who have enough food. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but it's not the point. Because if you look behind the curtains, they're doing all of that on purpose to give you stress, to make you crazy, to keep you following along with the story, to keep you following along with the mind control, the governmental, to govern your mind. And, basically, it's a good suggestion, Campbell said, just don't be there. Don't be with the story. Don't be with what they tell you. Don't believe in their bullshit. And then you can, do something else, whatever it is you decide you wish to do from there.
Yeah, man. Create your own story, right? That's what it comes down to, His story, our story, your story. Just, create your own story. That's much more fun, right? Because then you don't know what's coming, and you're the hero, right? Much more fun than reading a book about how you're in jail and you can't do anything and you're being oppressed. These entities that we never meet and we never really see, they just kind of pop up on our TV screens when they've got a message to tell us. I mean, we can't even prove that any of these people, well, I can't anyway, are even real, especially with AI. I mean, come on, with AI, I mean, doesn't that just give us more evidence that we should question everything and the validity of everything? Just because we see something doesn't mean it's real. It could literally these days be completely AI generated.
I mean, I went to a store here in Japan and I saw they were selling an app. Literally saw 3 girls that didn't look so good. And this was on their phone. I saw this advertised in a big thing in one of the huge department stores and showed how they looked. And then they used the app and how they looked afterwards. So beautiful, cute, with more makeup, whatever, skinnier. Literally, you can walk into a store now. You can buy an app that changes reality as far as pictures go and do it yourself. So like Campbell said, believing they showed you 3 pictures from history. This is what Tesla looked like. This is what this guy looked like. This is what Genghis Khan looked like. This is what, Buddha looked like. And then they're going, and it's just an artist rendering, but this is reality. I mean, come on. This has got to be the truth because I saw a picture of it somewhere in my book when I was in grade school, and someone told me this is what Tesla said, or someone told me this is what Einstein said. Who the hell knows? You don't know. I don't know. It's practically intelligent to realize maybe they're lying to you.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, like Jesus, right? You ask people what did Jesus look like, and especially in the Western world, pretty much everyone would know. They've got this picture in their head. But what's that based on? No one knows what he looked like. We've got no photographs. We've got nothing we can rely on. They tell us he was like 2,000 years ago. And what? Someone remembered him, and then in the 1600s drew a portrait and went, "Here he is. Look, that's what he
Yeah,
looked like." I mean, come on, guys. It's just silly.
yeah,
It's just silliness. They're just doing this stuff almost to just, I don't know what they're doing it for. Laugh at us, to play games with us. But the thing is that they can only play games with us if we agree to be in the game. Like that's it, right? You can just
that's
go,
it.
no, I'm not playing. I'm not here. Why wouldn't it happen? Because I'm not at the game board, because I'm not in that situation. It's got nothing to do with me. And people are, but what? Come on, what would you do if you're in a war and you saw this? It's got nothing to do with me. Why would I spend my time wondering about stupidities that are based on negative actions? It's dumb. So this is
Yeah,
really,
you're being
what being
gamed there.
done with
Yeah,
dumb is. Be done with the dumbness that's been put out to us as truth. You know.
yeah, being done with the foolishness, being done with being fooled, being done with being stupid, being done with smelling your own asshole and saying it smells like roses. Call
Yeah.
shit shit, and then stop following it if you like. Even a little rhyme right there. But basically, anybody that points at anything. I've said this story before. I know a friend whose parents lived in the Ukraine, and I met him a couple of years ago on the street here. He's living in Japan, and he was laughing because he said, my mom goes to the beach every weekend, you know, and he doesn't know what the hell they're talking about as far as things being bad. I went to visit Turkey once when there was supposedly the war with Iran or Iraq or whatever was going on at the time. My parents freaked out. You can't go there. They're killing each other. There's bombs. And I went there. I sat on the beach. I had a few beers. I ate some good food and fish. I was swimming in the water. I saw some Tertarian buildings at the time near Ephesus or some of those old places. And basically, what I was told was, or what my parents were told was happening there, not even close to what was happening there.
Mm. All stories, man. All stories. So I've just been reading some
All
of the
stories.
comments. But yeah, so that's about it. I think we've been going for about an hour now. So that's really the main
Yeah. So let's
message.
promote
Um,
ourselves.
apart
Let's
from
promote
come and
ourselves.
join us
Tell them what's going
on
on.
locals. Yes, you'll find a link below, guys. We've it takes a while to set locals up, so we've just been approved, but now we need to sort of get some content up there. So the link you'll find below is for one of our email lists. Just whack your email in there, and we'll let you know when locals is up and running, and you can come and join us over there. We're going to get off YouTube so we can speak a bit more real. We don't have any restrictions or censorship. And basically, we want to build a community where we talk about these topics and we all sort of input. We get as many different perspectives as we can and start making our own decisions of how we're going to go forward. What's best for us, right?
333 watching. I think that's our biggest yet, our biggest live count, probably over 300. I don't think it's ever happened before, which is very nice. Thank you all
Oh,
for being here. We are going to do one more live, by the way,
when will
public.
be confirmed?
Our Saturday, Friday, we're going to do a present. So join us for that. You'll see the thumb up very soon. We're going to give away our last one as a present before the holidays in a few days. We'll do that up and we can talk about the nice side of all of this. Instead of just the asshole side of things. But we also have 9 hidden secrets. Your friend is calling you. It's already ready. Campbell and I have 9 videos we did. It took us over a year to put it together with Q&As. It's the links there below. 2 for 1 for the holidays. We'll give someone free as a present if you pick it up and stuff like that. And enough self-promotion, but we would love your support because it will allow us to continue to share as we feel like sharing to help the world to a more intelligent, more aware, more imaginative place as we would like to see it.
Mm, definitely. So the link's below. Thanks everyone for being here with us. Illuminumi confirmed, of course, 333. Oh my God. Could it be worse? Only if it was 666, apparently. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Thanks to the mods, Hippie and Chris. Appreciate you as always. And thanks for everyone commenting. And definitely, if you find this interesting, you like these kind of conversations, go below, click the link, whack in your email, and we'll let you know when Locals is up and running, which should be we're hoping this weekend it should be open for everyone to go and check it out.
And it won't be very expensive. We say, we're not, those kind of guys. The fees will be very low, and it will give everyone the ability. And it's not even that we need the money to do it. I don't think it's that. I think it's more like when you put something in the middle, you pay more attention, skin in the game, soul in the game. It gives you an opportunity to actually get beyond whatever's stopping you from maybe it hurts a little to pay, right? I know it does for me too. Maybe you got to get over the idea that some of the stuff needs to be free or else it's not real. All of these things. But really, what it comes down to is it gives us the opportunity, Campbell and me, to put more effort, more time, and more energy into sharing these lovely things that everyone seems, or a lot, at least 333 of you, seem to enjoy. And it'll give us the opportunity to share more with you, for you, and through you. And we would love to have some more direct participation that way too, which is what we're hoping for as well.
Definitely. So there you go, guys. Link below. We'll be back on Saturday, same time. Have a bit
Saturday
of a chat
for us,
about
Friday for North Americans.
Friday night for North America. Presents and presents, as it's almost the silly season, as we call it, out here on the prison colony. But yeah, come and join us for that. And if not, we may do some things next year. We're not sure, but we're definitely going to be focusing on locals. So get on the
thank you, Mary.
email.
I saw one that just came through.
Oh, nice. There we
Mary
go.
just sent her email. Already sent it.
There you go.
There we
So
go.
go down and
yeah,
do
in
what
Love
Mary-
Unlimited, one last thing, in Love Unlimited, I've changed my personal services. A carpenter in dark times. Repair the soul for the journey to come. There's relationship counseling I'm doing with my wife now. Dream Air Kisses, we're calling it. I know it was a bit silly, but that's what came up. So relationship counseling for you and or someone else. If a relationship is important to you, Campbell and I are going to be doing more stuff together. We're in the middle of doing a process with some lovely people, or one lovely person right now, our Find Your Real Self, and that's working out amazing. We're going to do more of that if you're interested in it. So basically, there's really no reason why you can't become a better person and share with us as we share with you. There's nothing but opportunity, even through our little network here. So full4power@gmail.com with the number 4 in the middle, full4power@gmail. If anybody has any intelligent questions, intelligent suggestions, or just wants a little bit more information on what we've chatted about here, and I'm happy to get back to you as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, hello to Coriander. Thanks for being here. I saw your stuff. Hope we can catch up. And my Romali girls, I think I was supposed to get to you like about 6 months ago, wasn't I? Sorry about that. I'm not very good at that stuff. But hello, I will check that out. And hello to everyone else. And if you do want to, meet up with myself or Lorenzo, we are going to be trying to we're organising a live event for next year. But the way to get all that info is to go down and put your email in below, and we'll keep you informed with what's going on, because we'd love to meet you all in person. One day.
One last thing that I'm going to let everyone know: in May, June in Connecticut, I am doing a live course, the Forever Forge, literally based on this information, 6-7 weeks in person. So there'll be information coming very soon. I'm figuring that out with John Coleman from Apostikatassis. I hope I pronounced that right. His school is just a tongue tire, but he's an alternative educator. He started his own school, high school, university level, even to get outside to help people that are homeschooling and to allow them. He has math, Latin, current affairs, religion, and now he's asked to come join to teach, the Forever Forge, basically this sort of information that Campbell and I have been sharing. I'm hoping Campbell can come too. We do want to have maybe a live event on the East Coast in USA in June, July. We're looking to do that as well. So anybody that wants to participate and just in a real sense has something to offer and share in the physical, let's get off our bums and do it, please let us know, and we'll be able to help you out as you help us out. And we'll finally make this better world already. Who cares what anyone else says?
Yeah, exactly. If it is to be, it's up to me, right? All right, guys. Thanks for spending some time with us. We do appreciate it. All links below, and we will catch you on Saturday. Same time, same channel. Stay awesome.
Bye, everyone.